Hello guys, welcome back to the series. So today we're gonna discuss a concept called inheritance. So what does inheritance means? I'll explain this using a program as usual. I'll just give you the definition. So it just pretty much sounds like a word, right? So we inherit something from our parents. If somebody's parents are tall, usually you would see the kids are tall. So we inherit certain properties from our parents, right? In our real life also. Similarly in Java, a class can be inherited from a different class. So that means the derived class, the inherited class becomes a subclass to the class from which it was inherited. And the main class becomes a parent class or superclass. So what happens after inheritance is certain fields that are defined in the parent class or methods that are defined in the parent class can be used within a subclass, which is the inherited class. So those instance variables and those methods can be directly used, which means the class inherited those properties, those methods from the parent class. That's the simple concept of inheritance. So let's go ahead and see it with an example. I'm going to create a new class called inheritance demo, and see right now if you see this is inheriting, so not inheriting but the superclass is object, right? So which is an ultimate class for every class. That's in the package java.lang. It's a built-in class. Every class has access to some methods in that object class, which let's ignore it right now, but you'll understand it later. So I've just created this class, and let me create another class, maybe call cars, always the favorite topic, right? So I don't need a main method inside it, and we created the cars also. All right, so in my cars method, let me make some, in my cars class, let me make some methods. Let's say public void increase speed, and that's gonna, maybe let me create a int also, int speed here. I'll do a speed plus plus and see, so we'll just do increasing speed. That should be good, right? So let me create a similar method to say decrease speed, and speed minus minus. So you guys know, right? If we do speed plus plus, it's gonna increase the value of the speed variable. So decreasing speed. That's a functionality of a car, right? We can increase the speed or decrease the speed. Now we have a variable also with the name speed. Now what happens? Let me make one more class, and that class, my favorite one, BMW. I can either specify here the name of my superclass, which is gonna be cars, or if not, then I can leave it like that also. And I say a keyword extends cars. So this cars is the class that we created here. Let me create a constructor, public cars, and something like speed. Yeah, maybe the default speed. So I wanna, and start speed. Maybe let me call it start speed. So it's gonna set speed to start speed. Start speed, that's it. So what I'm doing in the constructor is just setting my speed to this start speed. In my BMW class, alright, so we need to define a constructor for this also. It just says the constructor is not defined because it extends the superclass. So public BMW and speed, and it's gonna say, or we can, you know what, we don't even need this. We can just say this, oh sorry, super, and just give the variable. So super means it's gonna access the superclass and it's just gonna get the variable. So speed, I can just say start speed instead. Start speed. So what this does is it's gonna get the constructor from my class and it's just gonna give this value there and it's gonna set it. So I'm just gonna give the value from this class and it's gonna call the constructor from my superclass. So super is the keyword which is used to access anything from the parent class, which is my cars class. So now what I can do is, so let me create few objects in this main class which is inheritance demo. So let's call cars c1 equals to new cars, and let me give a speed int speed equals to 0. So let me pass speed here, and what else I want to do, I just want to call maybe c1 dot increase speed. So let me run it now. What happens? It says increasing speed. How I can utilize these things inside my BMW class now? That's the question. So let me call these things inside that. What I can do is I can simply, first of all, I utilize the constructor from my parent class. Now what I can do is I can just override the methods that are implemented in my parent class into my subclass. What overriding means is simply I can use these methods and change the functionality. If I want to use the similar functionality, I can do that also, but for that I don't need a method inside my subclass. But what I can do is I can override the functionality of this method. So I can define a same method inside the BMW class with the same signature, and I can override the functionality. I can change the functionality there. So what I can do is either I can type it myself, like public void and increase speed and speed. Either I can do that, or I have one more way that I can simply override it. Just right click, go to source and override implement methods. What it does is it shows me the parent class because it's extended from the cars class. It shows me the methods inside the car class. If I want to override just the increase speed, I would click on that and click OK. See, it overrides it. It just says public void increase speed with the annotation override, and there's a to do stub. Right now it just calling the increase speed method from the superclass. So right now it's gonna perform the same functionality. So let me do one thing. Let me create increasing speed of cars so you know the difference. Now let me create one more BMW B1, or maybe BMW1 equals to new BMW, and let me give speed here. If I do that, BMW1 dot increase speed, what does it do right now? Let's see. If I run this main class, it says increasing speed of cars. It's called two times, and increasing speed of cars, because first time it's called from here, second time it's called from here. Both the times it called the same method, increasing speed of cars, because I'm just calling the super or increase speed. What I can do now, I can actually speed, I can do this, sorry, see, so increasing speed of BMW. I can do this. So let's say I've done this now, and what happens if I run this code now? For the first one, it says increasing speed of cars, because this is the object reference from the cars class. The second one is from the BMW class, which says increasing speed of BMW. So if you guys noticed it, this has overridden the original increase speed method, and I have implemented a new functionality right here. So this is called inheritance. What else we can do? We can inherit all those fields that's defined in the cars class. We can inherit the speed variable. We can inherit both of these methods, or all the methods actually which are defined in the cars class mostly. And what else we can do is we can define new methods inside it. So let's say I have some specific functionality, public void, and maybe heads up display navigation, which is new in BMW. So I have this functionality which is new in BMW, and maybe not in most of the cars. Some cars are giving it now, but not in all the cars. So I want to implement this functionality for my BMW class. So what I would say is BMW specific functionality. So I can call this using BMW1 dot BM with my heads up display navigation, right? If I run the code now, it says BMW specific functionality. But notice guys, I cannot call this method from my, see, if I do, there's no heads up display navigation method available to my cars class, because that's the parent class. So subclass has the opportunity to use the parents class methods, but parent class cannot utilize the subclass method. So I can only call parent class methods which are defined in that. I cannot use the subclass methods for the parent class. So these are the few things that we can do in inheritance, and it's pretty useful. Sometimes we have a, like this is an application, let's say cars, and we have different make and models of the class. So there are some specific functionalities, like every car has to start an engine and stop an engine, increase gear, increase speed, and those kind of things. All these functionalities can be inherited to all the different classes which are different cars. Let's say BMW, all the basic functionalities can be inherited from the cars class, and then the new functionality which is specific to BMW can be implemented in the BMW class. Similar if we have a Mercedes or Audi or Honda or something else. So this is the benefit of using inheritance. uh, that's all for today, guys. I think it's pretty much to absorb, and all you need to do is just create some small classes like this and do some practice. uh, that's all, and then in next tutorial we'll cover few other details in Java. Thanks for attending, guys. Thanks.